Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Somebody asked how my Tolumnias were doing. Are they recovering? So that's somebody who obviously watched the video where they were all going downhill seriously fast and they got remounted and looked at in detail. Some got thrown out there and then. Some have got thrown out since. And I think looking at them now, one's on its way out again. So I've got greatly reduced numbers. But what I'm hoping is at the RHS show in beginning of April this year, last year quite a few suppliers had a lot of cheap Tolumnias. They were unnamed hybrids, but they were all in bloom in those tiny little terracotta pots with roots clambering all over the place. They were good healthy plants in bloom, and they were selling them for £5.99, like £6 for a new Tolumnia that I can pick, hand pick. I'm happy with that. So if they're there again this year, I shall come home with an armful to replace those I've lost, because I like Tolumnias. I can't have enough of them, quite honestly. They take up so little space, such a nice splash of colour. Yeah, they're one of my favourite types of orchids. I was so pleased when I got some, you know, my first Tolumnias, but I wasn't pleased with the scale totally decimating them. I think I've got past that now. Some are pushing on nicely, some are just hanging in there, and one I think is not long for this world. But we'll have a look at them individually. This is my latest one. This had two spikes on it. This spike is starting to fade, but it's got another branch, and this one has branched several times. It's probably on its last two blooms now, and this one's got a really big long name. I'll have to do a pop-up. There's lots of sun in it. Sun ray, golden, something or other, but I'll put a pop-up. It's not a bad plant. It's not bursting with life. Basically, when it was mounted, it lost some of its roots, but it is starting to grow some more. So, you know, that's going to pull on during the growing season, get some new fans going, and hopefully get some more spikes. So, not bursting with health, but not going downhill. Just hanging in there quite nicely. This one is my only species. This is Europhila. This actually got an award at the Malvern show last time it bloomed, and it hasn't done it since. This one got hit bad by the scale, but it didn't lose its leaves, and it didn't lose its root system completely. So this one stood a good chance of pulling on, and it has done that. Several new fans, and it's now got a reasonable root system. It's pushed right down through the moss, quite a lot of attached to the bark. So that one's coming on nicely. I've got no worries about that one. That one's safe. This one is this is Tolumnia Sunset Pink, and this one was in a bad way, and it's pulling on now. You can see there's quite a lot of new fans coming. The older fans were not totally lost. Their leaves don't look good, but nonetheless they can still photosynthesize. But it's got new growths. That's the good bit, and it's got roots. So that one's safe. That one will make it. This one, however, is only just hanging in there. The plant is totally desiccated, but it has a new growth. It's recently pushed up a new growth. I see no sign of new roots yet, but that tiny little growth at the base of the plant is that one's only hope. So hanging on by the skin of its teeth, and that one is Jarrac Flyer Red Butterfly. The fact that it's got Jarrac in it, it was a set that I bought from a French nursery, and quite honestly they were very, very young, quite weak plants when I got them, and had they been left alone by the scale, they'd probably be quite good plants by now, but they were only just getting going, and then they got their bases eaten off. So I think this is the only one left now. I'm not sure. I think I got 5, but that's just hanging in there, that one. Right, the others are down here. I'll have to pick these up one at a time. This one, I believe, has had it. There are no signs of new fans. It's got no roots, and it's badly desiccated. A while ago it pushed up a new leaf out of the centre of the plant, and I thought, well, maybe it's pushing a fan up in a daft place, you know, in the middle of the older growth. But that leaf's now desiccated, so Yeah, I think next time that comes down for watering is that if there's still no sign of life, that one can go. That's just not going to make it, I don't think. This one's doing okay. This one's quite nice. This is Tolumnia Peach. And this one's growing nicely. You know, the latest couple of fans on there have pushed out good roots, you know, right down through the moss and out the bottom of the bark. Some of them are heading upwards, some of them have become aerial. So that's a nice plant. That's coming on nicely. You're safe. Now this one's a miniature. This is a strange little one. It's got no tag on it because I had a couple of hybrids and muddled the tags up. Well, one's gone and one's still here, and until it blooms I don't know which one's which. But this one's pushed out a lot of roots recently, right down to the base of the mount, up through the cracks in the bark, and is growing some new growths. And this will never be a large plant. This is quite a miniature plant, whatever it is. So that one's okay. And the last one, that's all there is now. This is another Jarrac, so I have still got two. This is Black Magic. And this one's coming on. You know, this one's pulled up since its sorry state it was in. So the two fans at the back were what I was left with after I had to trim off all the dead stuff. And it's pushed up this nice new one at the front, and it's now creating a new root system. So it's safe. Coming on, so that's the state of play with the Tolumnias. As I said, I'm hoping to get some more, but apart from that one, which I really don't think, in fact that can go out now, it's not worth keeping. So that leaves me with those three. The one, oh my shoulder still hurts. The one that's still in bloom, this one is good, this one is good, and this one is hanging on for dear life with its new thing. So that's three. That leaves me with 7, I believe. Yeah, 3 there, and the one in bloom. Yeah, that leaves me with 7. I started with 15. And quite honestly, as far as scale go, that's the worst offence they have ever committed. To take down that many reasonably healthy plants was absolutely outrageous. And it's my own fault for trying to avoid decent working chemicals and sticking to the wishy-washy soapy things and thinking they were working when they were working to a degree but only partially working. And that was during a growing season when, you know, not only do the plants grow well in those sort of conditions, so do the bugs. You know, they breed like anything. So as fast as I was killing them, they were breeding, and, you know, within days they were back again. So I won't be doing that again. If I get scale or a bad mealybug or anything like that, they get the strongest chemical I'm allowed to have, the whole plant, the root system, and a repeat treatment. Get the stuff in the flipping plant. It's literally a contact killer. So any that get sprayed on that can actually soak the stuff in, they're dead straight away. And then the others are dead when they start taking bites out of the plant. So you basically stop them from breeding effectively because you're killing them, you know, effectively. So hopefully we won't have that trouble again, and hopefully I can get some new ones. So that's the state of play with the Tolumnias. See you next time.